Welcome to the second video, and this is a bloody nightmare to edit because I kept hitting pause when I meant to record and record when I meant to pause. Anyway, here's the bowl you saw me make. I popped it out of a balloon and it's nicely dry. You can see the rough edges where the paper hangs down to the sides. Just have a poke around, see if there's any loose bits. There's a loose bit, just pull them off. Okay, and you end up with a concrete bowl with basically reasonably strong edges. You're going to need to hang this upside down to drip dry, so you're going to use some string on the bottom. Here's a glue gun, here's some string, glue it onto there. And for those who are harder thinking, here's what that looks like. Tie a loop in the string once you've got it there, and you can hang it to dry. Smart-eyed people will see the bowls change shape, and oh look, it's been painted. It's a new colour. Wow, we can get lots of different colours. Yeah, okay, so that's where I started videoing the wrong stuff. My mistake. Carry on. The reason I'm repainting this is I didn't like the orange. It was just something I had left over. Instead now I'm going to mix up some fresh paint. This is a diner red colour, so it's sort of sparkly. Get a tomato sauce squeezy or mustard squeezy, whatever you call them. That bottle. If I'm doing this, I always put a bit of the pouring medium in first. Otherwise the paint tends to stick to the bottom and you get a big glob there. So this is just a Liquitex pouring medium. As I say, not too worried about proportions. Eyeball it. I'm not scientific on this stuff. So I've put in about that much, say a whiskey measure. Add the paint. This is a nearly empty tube, so I'm just going to squeeze a whole lot in there. But if you look at the levels, I'll show you the levels in a minute, but if you look at the levels, you can see roughly what I'm doing. I normally get about 25% paint to 75% pouring medium, but it's really just done by eye, and it really doesn't matter. It's more about making sure the paint's still paint coloured and the consistency is right, suitably gloopy. So here's the second tube, just to bulk it up a bit. And yeah, you can just about see down the bottom. So that at the moment is probably 50% pouring medium, 50% paint. Whack a load more in. Yay, that's much more, that's close to a third paint and a third and 2/3 pouring medium. Give it a shake up, get it in there. I tend to do it in several stages because you can always add more, you can't take it away. I don't know if you really see in there, but it's mixed, but it wasn't flowing. Add a bit more pouring medium. Yeah, so now that's close to that 25%, 75% I was talking about. Yeah, another quick shaky. And what you find, I find, it never really gets quite fluid enough with just pouring medium, so I add some water. So here's my little, that's just water, don't worry about the dispenser, it's a little spray pourer thing I've got. There you go, a little bit of splash of paint in, splash of water in the paint, and put it all back on. Really make sure you stir it up well or shake it up well, because otherwise the water comes out and then the paint's still gloopy. So shaky, and we're away. People worry about what the consistency is, so here's some pictures. It doesn't really matter too much. You can see here, it's thicker than you use for normal pour painting. It sort of stands in peaks and slowly moves down. That's just safe having to put 2 coats on. I'm kind of lazy like that. But you can be really fairly flexible. What you're going to do, this one's covered anyway, so get your paint, and you'll see here, just squirt, be generous. There you are. You're going to sell these for 20, 30, 40 quid each, so you can afford to be easy with the paint. This is quite hard to do this when you're facing a camera, but you can see there the paint at the top is dripping down a bit. Big squidge in the middle, please. Yeah, lots of loose paint. This paint is going to drip everywhere, so make sure you've got surface prepared. Remember that string we put at the back? That's there to allow you to hang it upside down. You are going to drip paint, you are going to lose paint. I used probably 1 inch of paint there. Okay, now the kind of fun stroke difficult bit, as difficult as it gets, watch paint dry. If you let it dribble down, it forms little waves of paint, and you need to try and get it to cover all the patches. So you can see there in the middle, that orange bit is being slowly disguised. When you're doing this on the raw concrete, it will take more paint. It absorbs and sticks to the concrete more, so you can use slightly runnier paint than I'm using. But again, it doesn't matter. If you make it slightly too runny, you may need to put a second coat on if the coverage isn't great. But the trick here is just let it sloop round to the sides. You want it to cover the edges, Use your fingers. You've got to remember, we're doing the inside at the moment. We're going to do the outside later. So any stuff over the edges now, like that, that'll get covered up from the paint on the outside. So the trick here, try and get a nice smooth coat across the whole of the inside. Let it dribble down to the edge. Turn the bowl round. Yeah, sloop up your edges. Let it dribble. You can work it out. And here's the end result. The inside's fully covered. There's a couple of little bubbles and marks in there where the concrete's not perfect. You can just kind of like swirl it around like that to cover them, but there's a much more fun way. Grab a big blowtorch and blast a living light out of it. Yeah, whoosh, 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 spin it around, make sure you get all the bubbles. Now we're ready to dry it, so I use my trusty paint scraper balancing on a drying rack. That hoop we glued on earlier gets hung over the back there, and we can just balance the other end on a paint pot. Yeah, oh, notice the drips go into the glass? Yeah, paint pot's not high enough, let's add some tiles. No, that's still not working, hang on a minute. Yeah, the paint falls on the glass, you use that for skins later. Right, so what we got is some tiles, a bit of tape, some more tiles, then a paint pot. Okay, we can buy these designs for $149.99, just PayPal me the money. And let's come back when we're doing the outside. Thank you so much.